This is Malcolm Turner from Malcolm Turner Communications, and I'd like to welcome you to our new YouTube channel. The videos you find here have been made for the benefit of our clients, but anyone's welcome to view them. Tell us if you enjoy them, and if you have any questions or suggestions, just leave them in the comments box and we'll get back to you. And please feel free to share these videos with any of your friends or colleagues who you think may benefit from them. Now, me and my team have been in the communications business for more years than I care to remember. There are a lot of things we've learnt that we don't always have time to explain to our clients, but they might find useful all the same. In the pre-internet age, I used to give breakfast talks from time to time, and many people told me they found them useful or that they changed their communication strategy as a result of them. Digital technology has made it much easier for us to share our experiences. So we've decided to record a series of short videos on topics we think will benefit our clients and share them here on YouTube. The first video deals with a single question that we are most often asked, especially by new clients, and that is, how do we know if our PR is working? After all, the benefit of PR is impossible to measure, isn't it? And we don't want to spend a lot of money on something that we can't easily quantify. I always give the same answer. Good PR can be measured. If it couldn't, the public relations industry would have disappeared a long time ago. And remember this, bad PR, if it comes your way, can actually ruin your business. And in a later video, we'll give some examples of bad PR which has damaged or in some cases even destroyed previously successful companies. One of many advantages of good PR is that it makes bad PR less likely or at worst more manageable. A good communication strategy is one of the best defences you can have. Now, if we ask the simple question, who's the most famous person in the world? The answer will usually be either an entertainer or a politician. Until recently, Michael Jackson and Justin Bieber often topped these lists. Today, Donald Trump or Barack Obama might make the cut, or even a social media star like Kim Kardashian. In the years following World War I, Harry Houdini, Babe Ruth and Charlie Chaplin achieved extraordinary fame. But that would change in May 1927, when a hitherto unknown airmail pilot became the most famous man on earth in just 33 hours. Charles Lindbergh, America's lone eagle, had flown a single-engine Ryan monoplane from New York to Paris in one hop, and to this day he's remembered as the first pilot to fly across the Atlantic. But in truth, he wasn't the first pilot to fly across the Atlantic. In fact, he wasn't even the second or the third. As early as 1919, 8 years before, a Curtiss seaplane had successfully crossed the Atlantic. And just a month later, the British aviators Alcock and Brown accomplished the extraordinary feat of flying across the Atlantic non-stop. Then an airship did the same thing, and before long the South Atlantic had been traversed. Finally, 2 Portuguese pilots managed to fly across the Atlantic at night and in the wrong direction, against the prevailing winds. Today, few of these pilots are remembered by anyone. For some years, Alcock and Brown's flight was commemorated by a statue which overlooked the main runway of London's Heathrow Airport. But a few years ago, the statue was moved to an obscure technical college. Lindbergh's aircraft, however, named the Spirit of St. Louis, is preserved at the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, and it's the first exhibit you see when you enter what is arguably the world's best aerospace museum. So how did Lindbergh carve his name so effectively into history? Even today, he's still considered one of the most famous Americans of all time. The answer, in case you hadn't guessed, is that Lindbergh had good PR on his side. In 1919, a New York hotelier named Raymond Orteig put up a $25,000 award for the first successful non-stop transatlantic flight, specifically between New York and Paris. Over the next 8 years, numerous attempts were made but all failed, and many of the pilots were killed. In 1927, Charles Lindbergh decided that he would try and approach several large aircraft manufacturers. He quickly discovered that his obscurity was a major disadvantage. The big plane makers would only provide a plane for a known pilot, and nobody knew Lindbergh. He responded by hiring a PR company and soon persuaded several St. Louis businessmen, along with the Ryan Aeronautical Company, to finance his flight and build him a specially designed aircraft. Lindbergh landed at Le Bourget Aerodrome on the outskirts of Paris at 10:22 p.m. on Saturday, May the 21st, 1927. He'd found the airfield from the headlights of tens of thousands of spectators' cars caught in the largest traffic jam in Paris history. A crowd estimated at 150,000 stormed the field, dragged Lindbergh out of the cockpit, and literally carried him around above their heads for nearly half an hour. Between July the 20th and October the 23rd, 1927, Lindbergh visited 82 cities in all 48 states of the United States and was seen by more than 30 million Americans, 1/4 of the nation's population. A Lindbergh boom in aviation had begun. His flight was a bigger news event than the first landing on the moon. The volume of mail moving by air increased 50% within 6 months. Applications for pilot's licenses tripled and the number of planes quadrupled. Lindy was now the most famous person in the world. Overnight, aviation had gone from an obscure engineering niche to a major international industry, and so had public relations.